Greetings, beautiful people. I hope you're having a wonderful night, day, or evening. If you aren't, just remember, God loves you. I love you. You are so loved. Today, I just want to talk about releasing and expressing emotions. I've done a couple podcasts in the past, kind of pertaining to the same topic, but this time I'm going to come at it from a different angle or perspective, if you will. And I want to talk about it on a releasing side more, because it's important to really use the emotions you have. It's what makes our experience an experience. Every mood we have, feeling or emotion that we experience, it can be used for something positive or good if you just have the awareness to use it. And by that, I just mean, give you a silly personal example, but the other day I was just feeling kind of down. Not really down, more like kind of angry in a sense. And not very angry. I guess I was irritated. I was irritated. And I was going to play a video game called Overwatch. But, that game can be a little aggressive and violent. So instead, I was like, you know what? Let me do something a little bit more creative. And that way I can just kind of let that side of my mind flourish versus the other side. So instead of playing a more calculated, logical game, I decided to play Minecraft and just build something and kind of express myself that way. And so as I was doing that, it just kind of just came into my spirit, less anger, more expression, less aggression, more expression. Just like that. That's how it came into my mind. Less aggression, more expression. And when it just clicked for me, I was like, okay, now I kind of see, even though you experience some of these emotions and feelings for many different reasons based off of your circumstances, they can be used for something positive, because instead of getting on a video game that would have added to that kind of aggression, and it may have been kind of therapeutic, maybe to run around shooting other robots and whatnot, but that's just one side of it. The other side of it wasn't necessarily helping me to release those feelings, but actually just playing on them instead. So what I did was I played a video game that just was completely different than what I technically wanted to do, but it was something to help me release those feelings. Instead of, creating more chaos or adding to it, I created something out of the chaos and made something really cool. Just did something really creative and made this really weird pyramid house thing. And I was just like, wow, this is really cool. But I bring up all that just to say that, emotions can be used in many different ways. And if you kind of become aware of how to express them the right way, you can create some really cool things. And I just mean, you can create music, songs, movies, films. You can create anything, honestly, drawings, paintings, you name it. You kind of just got to let your mind be free and create whatever it wants to create, and use those emotions, feelings, the negative ones, as kind of like ammunition to further push whatever creative thing you're trying to convey, if that's the word. You're trying to express it, because a lot of the time it's like we have these bottled up emotions within us that we don't really know how to bring into words or speak about. And so for me, creating is a huge part of how I heal and also express and release things. I also came across this really cool little infographic picture on Instagram, and it was basically saying that if feelings had words and if they could talk, this is kind of what they would be telling you. So I'm gonna go through the list real quick. Well, it's not really a list, but it's kind of like giving you a breakdown of what each emotion or feeling would be trying to tell you if it could talk to you. So sadness might be telling you need to cry. Loneliness might be telling you need to connect. Shame might be telling you need more self-compassion. Resentment might be telling you to forgive. Emptiness might be telling you need to do something creative, literally create something. Anger might be telling you need to check in with your boundaries. Anxiety might be telling you need to breathe. And stress might be telling you need to take it one step at a time. And I just think that is so powerful and interesting, because how many of us, if we really truly understood our emotions and feelings, we could be able to deal with them better. And I think this is just a perfect way of kind of expressing that, or, learning what those emotions are trying to get us to do, in a sense. And I want to pinpoint the emptiness part, because it says that is a way emptiness is trying to tell you need to be creative or you need to do something. And that's important, in all of this. To me, you can use all of these emotions and feelings and then create something out of it. You can create something out of sadness, loneliness, resentment, anger, anxiety, anxiety. I mean, maybe not anxiety, but everything can be used to create something. And I just think that is so cool because God knows we all feel a lot all the time. I mean, some people are better at pretending like they don't. Some people are better actually at handling their emotions than others. But then there are some people who have a hard time dealing with the day-to-day stresses, and which all their feelings and emotions just, going like waves, going in and out. It's hard. And I understand that. I've been in that space several times. But what I've learned to do to kind of express that and release that energy is to create something, whether it's cool or not. Sometimes you just got to get a pencil and doodle and just do whatever, even though it might not be, the next Mona Lisa. It's something. You're expressing yourself, and that's art. Art is just expression. So I encourage anyone out there, if you're having a hard time balancing your feelings and emotions, just learn how to express them, release them. It could be other ways. Creative communication is another way, just expressing and letting things go. If you hold on to it, all it does is build up. It might go away momentarily, but eventually it's going to come back. It might come back worse. So in those moments in the present, just deal with it. And my way of doing that personally is just to sit down and find a creative outlet, whether that be painting, drawing. I mean, over the summer, I did my best not to stay in a low vibration, and it worked for the most part, but that challenged me to do stuff. And so there would be days where I'd be feeling bad when I woke up, and I go, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to get up. It's a nice sunny day. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to get a paintbrush, and I'm going to paint. And whether or not it comes out the best thing ever or the worst thing ever, I expressed whatever I was feeling in that moment, and I let it go. So that's just kind of my little spiel on that, because God knows so many people have a hard time expressing those feelings and emotions that they have. And for me, I can only give you a personal example. That's how I tend to express my feelings and emotions, is by creating something. Even sometimes when it comes to podcasting and just talking things out, it's kind of like therapy for me. Just expressing. That's it. Just expressing whatever you're feeling. And it's hard to put things into words sometimes. And that's why I say, the other half, that's like creative, just creating something, maybe drawing something, writing something, just doing something with your hands, building something. It's all forms of expression in a sense. And it's a piece of you in a sense, because you're then birthing something through design or creativity. And I just think that's amazing. But that is the end of this podcast. I hope it was helpful in some way. Just know we all feel emotions, good and bad. It's just life. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But you can always use all of these emotions to create something amazing or beautiful. And you never know. You being sad one day might result in the biggest song in the world. You just gotta put something into movement, action, and do something. Take those feelings and emotions, whether they're bad or good, and make something out of it. Because in a sense, to me, it's kind of like they're on the same scale, good, bad emotions. They're all just experiences under God. Literally, it's no different between light and darkness. To God, they're kind of the same. One or the other. In the darkness, there will be light. And in the light, there's a little bit of darkness. Well, not necessarily, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying, as far as like people who are light beings, one of the things about them is just as much darkness as they also have just as much light. So with that being said, it's kind of like a balance between the two. They just choose whether or not which side or energy they'd rather be in. I'm personally that way. I choose to be in a better energy or a lighter energy than a darker energy. Not that I don't appreciate it, accept it, or acknowledge it. I do. Trust me. I've been through my dark night of the soul. I'm doing shadow work as it is today. So I'm just learning that, I want to create a better reality for myself. And by doing that, I have to be able to express myself authentically, but also just acknowledge, that there is a brighter side. And, optimism is good here. When I'm painting and I'm drawing and I'm creating and building, I have hope for something. I'm looking towards the light in some way, because that's kind of what that is, creating these things in a sense. And even if I'm like sad and I'm building something or creating something or writing something, I'm expressing it and I'm getting it out, and I feel better during the process. And by the end of what I've created, I feel accomplished in some way, or I feel a little bit freer. My mind feels a little bit lighter. It's just a process. But again, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. God bless and have a beautiful night, day, or evening.